New Year to you all. Welcome to this year's brand new show, News for You. I'm your host, Stephen Fahey. Hello, TikTokers. Hello, Facebook community, friends and family that may be watching this, LinkedIn community, YouTubers. So, this podcast on today's show, I'll be looking at three different questions. I'll be looking at um, your mental health, okay, in 2024. Um, and I'm just reading my questions. I just wrote them out. So, how to deal with your first disappointment in 2024. Second question I'll be looking at is building a new business strategy in 2024 and building new revenue models. Now, the reason that I wanted to do how to deal with your first disappointment was really today. I woke up and I went out. I was excited because I just got a notification through that my local advert in an online magazine has been published, and I'm really happy with it. So I'm stepping out in the community and offering a local, it's called a coffee and cake talking therapies club. And the idea really is to provide a local support group for my community once a month in a local establishment. I'm excited about that. I was a bit disappointed because they told me that I was going to put it in print as well, and they done me a favour. They've done it for free because it's for the community. But I didn't get into the print version. It's their magazine. I appreciate that. So I was disappointed. I went out excited, and I went over to the PR to go and pick up some brochures of the magazine, and I wasn't in it. And it did get to me a bit. I'll be honest. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? Maybe this is meant to be, but at least they done the online ad. Okay, so it's like a collaboration, but they've done it because it's free because of the community. I don't have a lot of resources. My businesses still haven't generated money yet, but I'll talk about that in a moment because I'm building my business models at the last stage. I've already got a global and a starting small local presence in my community. And now I'm setting up my business models, but I'll talk about it in a moment. But yeah, going back to my disappointment, I really I felt, it would have been so nice, you do something, and I'm not really a big fan of like getting awards and that kind of stuff, but, to be in any kind of magazine or, doing a social media ad going viral is one thing, okay? I mean, I don't really get that happy about it these days. It doesn't happen that often. I've gone viral a lot in the old days, back on TikTok in the early days, and on LinkedIn. So that for me is kind of normal. But then when you want to step out in the community and do something, and it would have been so nice to open the magazine and you're there. I mean, I appreciate what they've done for me, but I was disappointed. I was disappointed what they done. I was disappointed in my not being open the magazine. You're excited, you open it up and you're in there, but I wasn't. So how do you deal with that? Well, I'll tell you exactly what I did so that you can learn lessons from me. And I think this is important for any of us because, it's literally the 2nd of January today. And we want to start 2024 on a positive as always. That's not always possible because we're going to get our first day like I did this morning, the 2nd of January, my first bit of disappointment. So I'll share with you what I did. And this is what I did. Yesterday, those of you that were, every day people are going to watch this show, going to be new people. It's hard to build a live audience, but I will try. But yesterday I was talking about, I've lost my brainstorming. Okay. It won't stick today, so I'm going to have to hold it. But brainstorming, you can see it there, LinkedIn, Instagrammers, Facebook, TikTokers. Don't know whether you can see that. But anyway, so brainstorming. What is brainstorming? When I sat on my table in my kitchen and I said to myself, you know what? I need to pull my business strategy in because I've got so many different things going on. And, I've got my online magazine myself, which is, it's an easy setup. I can write as much as or little as I want. but I've only got so many resources. So I literally got an envelope, the back of an envelope, and I started to do this. Okay. TikTokers, you'll be able to see that from the top to the bottom. And the first thing I ripped was my brand, News for You. So officially, my company is called News for You. And I wanted to see what was the first thing that I really want to do in 2024. So override my disappointment. And I really enjoyed doing this show. Okay. I'm only episode 7 or 8 in. And, you know, I wasn't too sure whether to carry on with LinkedIn, because the problem is with LinkedIn, sadly, you guys, they don't always like live feeds and they get notified. Sometimes we unfollow people because they're always coming up. And I can't help that from a UXD perspective. UXD is user experience design. And if you're starting a new business literally this year, that's something you need to research and understand, because the way that we navigate across TikTok, LinkedIn, social media platforms is you can get a job as a UXD designer. It's a lovely job, and you need to understand that. So I can't help the way that LinkedIn operate that. I'm going to stay live on LinkedIn every day, even if I lose followers, because I want to help people. End of the day, that's my bottom line, my bottom philosophy. Share, good, viable news that will help people in their business and their life journey. So News for You is an official news brand that I own. I've been slowly promoting it about 2 years on and off. And I didn't really know, because, starting a news brand these days is very difficult. A bit of a side story. I used to go viral a lot on LinkedIn, where I share my thought leadership, but the algorithm changed and I wasn't able to do that. So this year, what I decided to do, literally from the last Christmas week, is go live every day across my social media platforms. My platform's getting slightly bigger. I mean, TikTok is great. Yesterday's show got over 1,000 people. That's fantastic. Now, it doesn't mean to say that 1,000 people sat there and watched the whole hour, but it's nice to see the traffic. And you need to show up on social media every single day, I believe, and I follow Gary Vee's marketing strategy, as much content as possible. And sometimes, as I've been doing this for 5 years now, on and off, 5 years straight, posting on social media every single day. That's how you build strategy. And it's sometimes how, going back to my first question, how we can override disappointment in 2024. Because, in the business world, okay, or in the entertainment world, well, it's all business really. When there's a problem, we go back to hopefully the original plan. What was the original plan? What did we try to set out to do? For me, when I first started on social media, I was a bit lost. I wasn't nervous, right? And that, believe it or not, all I started doing on LinkedIn, where this is going out to as well, was just sharing documents about people that have written stuff in my area. So learning development was an area that I wanted to get into, and I've got a lot of connections in that industry, but I wasn't sure, and I tried to get a job as a learning technologist, and no one would take me on. And it just felt like the teachers, and now it's changed slightly, the teachers were not welcome in that industry, and it's slightly changed now. And I'm excited about that. And hopefully this year, depending on time, because I don't have a lot of resources yet. And when I start to grow as a business and build a team and get more resources, I can help more people. Because I think sometimes, to fight back against disappointment, we have to look at our core reason why we wanted to do in the first place. But anyway, I'm going to move on now to I'm going to share my business strategy. And hopefully, I'm only basically doing what Gary Vee says, is documenting the journey. So anyway, let's talk about I've got some exciting news. I've just got my notification up, and this is what I like about social media marketing on your mobile phone. So I just started to promote myself a little bit on Snapchat, because I want to expand my reach across social media. And notification come up, good news, your your post got over 300 views. And little celebrations like that. So a couple of hours ago, I was disappointed because I wasn't in the magazine, and now I've got one small social media post. 300 views is it's small, it's tiny, and most of my TikToks only get 200 views these days because of the algorithm. It is more harder. The competition is definitely a lot stronger, but I remain focused on my business strategy. And yesterday's conversation, I was talking about, in brief, what your business strategy is. So I'll try and give a very basic, not non-academic, because I used to teach this for real in schools and colleges, what a business strategy is. You don't really get taught business strategy in the lower education, but when you go to university, there is a whole unit on it. And in my definition, I would say the business strategy is the sole purpose of what you're trying to do in your business model. Okay. And then you're going to ask me, okay, this is for TikTokers and other people that want to start a business. As we know what business model is on LinkedIn, but we can always improve the business model. And I think going into 2024, literally this week, there'll be lots of companies that will evaluate that already have started this. They're going to know exactly what they want to do for the first quarter, okay, which is the first 3 months of 2024 up until March. And I'm going to share with you my very humble business strategy. It's a kind of plan, and I've literally done it on the back of an envelope. I wouldn't recommend, obviously, global brands are going to do a better job than that, but I'm only a small, humble, entrepreneur. I'm not, huge and famous or anything like that. That doesn't mean that I'm putting myself down, but I'm being realistic. I've got a global reach, but the way that social media works is that, I could have 10 million followers on YouTube, for instance, and when I produce a video, the algorithm might only reach 500 people. All right. So it never really matters on the amount of followers you have. It matters more on your net views. Okay. So your net views, I'm going a bit of a sidestep here. Your net views is, and Gary Vee talks about this in the 4Ds program, which I highly promote and encourage everybody to watch that on YouTube. 4Ds is the VaynerMedia program, I believe, that you can join. I don't know how much it is, but it's held in where VaynerMedia is, which is in New Jersey, I think, in America. And it's a great, I've got a lot from it for myself. Your net views, if you post every day and you get 30 views, how many views in total across your social media are you getting? Your net views do matter, but equally it matters more that you show up daily, okay? Because we're all doing that every single day. The doom screen finger, all right? We all do it, right? That's probably not going to change that much unless we get more voice activation on mobile phones through AI in the future. Maybe that might change, but I'm going to lean into my business strategy here. LinkedIn's, I don't think you can see that. Maybe if I put that just there, you'll see a glimpse of it. But anyway, so I've talked about how you override disappointment, go and do a brainstorming session. So I'm going to stay with this podcast. My number one choice first was, right, I'm going to stay with my podcast on a daily basis. I really enjoy broadcasting, okay? Yes, I'm going to say I'm a natural broadcaster. I've done coverage before. I'm growing a news brand. This is an official news brand, by the way. It might not feel like it to you, but this is something new and inspiring. It goes out every day, lunchtime, 1 o'clock. And I freelance it because sometimes I think structure is good, but as the old saying goes, I'm a former teacher. I can talk for Britain, literally. And sometimes I do talk too much, especially in meetings, because I don't like meetings. But I enjoy, creating videos, and going live is an important business strategy, especially for anybody starting a business. And I said this on LinkedIn as well recently, is that, because, like, for instance, like TikTok and LinkedIn are two very different platforms, okay? But they have a high volume of people. TikTok's got over 1 billion users, so has LinkedIn now, okay? That's a lot of people, and it means doesn't matter how many followers you've got, whatever video or article you post, the bandwidth is going to be tighter. So by going live, you can kind of cut into that, right? But still, people on LinkedIn, it's slightly different because people get notified. Same as TikTok. However, on TikTok, when you go into live, you can click a button and scroll through everybody that you follow that's going live. On LinkedIn, it works slightly different because you'll go live, and I go live randomly every day at 1 o'clock. Most people here on LinkedIn, I know this, will actually plan an event, but I don't like, even being a former soldier, I don't like regimental structure in terms of, live events the same every week. Yeah, go live every day randomly because I want to catch people off guard and that's an important part of your business strategy. Now, one of the key words I did speak about yesterday when I was talking about business was on here. This was my TikTok strategy that I said yesterday, and you'll notice the word experiments at the bottom there. Yeah, always experiment with your social media marketing strategy, and that's what I've done here. I'm not going to stick to it rigidly. So I know I'm going to go every day on my podcast. So I am effectively answering my question is building a new business strategy in 2024. And this is for everybody that wants to start a business. And even for those global brands that might be watching this on LinkedIn right now, that have got some kind of strategy in place. I won't go too much into detail because it takes me a long time to explain, but a lot of the bigger brands need to assess the risk of going into new markets across multiple industries. And it's something that what we call geopolitical risk. And if you're somebody that's really serious about setting up a global brand, which doesn't happen overnight, by the way, or you work for a company and you want to understand more about geopolitical risk, I'd make notes on this. It's basically you're assessing the risk of operating in that market, but because we've got two wars in Europe and we've got literally a trade and we've got even the British Army and the US Army now working together to defend our waters in terms of shipping lanes because now we're being attacked through that part. This all affects supply chain management. Those of you who might be watching this on LinkedIn will recognize that. So I'm trying to cater for two different audiences here on two different cameras. It's not always easy, but it's fun. I try, and I think it's so much a bit of a side story. When you teach in a classroom, it's easier, okay, because you've got your students. They're all one age group, maybe different ages, but when you're doing it with different cameras and different social media platforms, how do you cater for everybody? It's almost impossible, right? I think for me, I try to help people tell my story, share my wisdom, and I think that's all you can do. And sometimes you can narrow down on the data, but I literally am enjoying myself speaking to you right now, and because of that, I'll keep going. Okay, I don't really have an end point on the show. Yesterday, I went for what did I go for? 1 hour, but I don't think I'm going now for 20 minutes. I still feel high up on energy. I'll probably do another 20 minutes at least, maybe. Okay. And I think the 40-minute mark might be the end of this show. Anyway, I've got to get back to talking about my next step, social media marketing for you. Okay. That's a brand that I own. So I'm now sharing my story, how you can build up on your business strategy in 2024. For me personally, as a humble startup entrepreneur, thought leader, trying to put my thought leadership into a business model, okay, I think you always need to align it to the algorithm strength. So your content strategy, okay, needs to be mirror image across your business strategy. If your business strategy is to go and there's a lot of people want to promote apps at the moment, even on TikTok. There's a couple of companies that I've sent out to that I might work with if they like my profile to help them create a video. So on TikTok, there's a paid service where, as a creator, you reach out to them. It's called Marketplace. But here on LinkedIn, they actually just want to know what is the best way to get B2B sales, business to business. And I think, every year there's always going to be new apps. And, I always argue that apps are one of the most difficult brands you can push because, unless you're a social media marketing app, every app's got a shelf life. And I think, what I'm trying to do is a little bit different. So rather than me start off as a social media marketing agency, what I'm doing is I'm stepping out into my community to see what local businesses I could help with, not my actual presence on social media, but my knowledge. So I'm trying to work with a local pub called the Townhouse in Eastbourne. And we're trying to turn it around to improve the reputation, maybe get some investment so we can actually improve it and make it a really good community pub. So that's one project. And I'm also trying to work with Anytime Fitness, with their rebranding and their refit in their local gym. It's only one gym in the town, really. So I'm trying to help both of those. And I haven't, gone in there and say, this is how much I charge. I'm trying to do it to help my community. So for me, that helps me shape my business model. And then what I'm going to do, if I can successfully meet the criteria and help those two as clients, then I'm going to relaunch my own social media brand called Social Media Marketing for You, which sits on a LinkedIn platform. I haven't done anything with it. It's kind of disappeared because last year when I went around to local businesses, I share a story with you. I walked to 20 different hotels in Eastbourne and nobody would work with me. They all said, no, we're okay. We know what we're doing. We're all right. Okay, right. You get on with it. And, you can only pitch your services. I pitched to one hotel, a luxury hotel. I've done them some free social media content. I didn't get back to me. I thought that was bad communications. That was unprofessional. So I left it as that. So there's only one good hotel that I support here in Eastbourne with a national brand and a very important thing. So I'll mention it, called Unite, which is like a union group here in the UK. And they are a hotel called the View Hotel in Eastbourne. And I've got a special filming rights there. I go there and make a lot of videos. You've seen those on TikTok. Some I put here on LinkedIn and other platforms. But I'm very blessed to have those filming rights. They help me, and they've been very good to me. So I always support Unite, the actual group. And yeah, so anyway, taking me back now to my social media marketing brand. Okay, so I'm building 2 new clients, helping my community. It's not really that much of a monetization. It is, but I'm hoping to, as I've drawn down on my business strategy, my main business strategy to make revenue, what I'd say is my revenue model, which leads me on to the final question of today, building on new revenue models in 2024. Every business has to have a business model, whether you're you're trying to make money or you're not for profit. But you need a business model, okay? Otherwise, you're not going to survive. And this is probably the hardest journey that I've had in my startup venture because I had good expertise, mental health, but I didn't know how to monetize it. And I had to wait for TikTok to launch the creator program and the series program. Now, I've gone viral on my free promotions that I've run, but I haven't sold any courses yet. And that's okay with me because the data's told me that people like the promo video. And the record is only one, I think one good trainer, personal trainer, that's sold about 8,000 courses, which is not that much, I don't think, on. And after the 8th of January, I believe this is good for LinkedIn B2B people. They're going to be launching new services for creators that will allow us to actually. I'm not sure what tool they're going to be using, but hopefully they're going to be better tools as creators to create series. So I'm hoping to create better courses. I've done about 15, and they haven't really sold at all, really. So, and it's a new area that TikTok are going into, and I really wanted to lead on that. And I think sometimes when you get access to early tools, it's great. You have to experiment, and it's just taken me a lot longer than what I thought to develop a business model and revenue model that's fit for purpose that really works well. Because when you start any business today, you have to be on social media. And one of the problems I found with my revenue model is because most of my revenue models sit onto the algorithm. So if the algorithm plays strong to my content strategy that I'm using, then I'm going to push through on my sales. Like I said, I've done 3 good free promotions that went viral. One at 1 million, 110,000, the other one I can't remember. And I use artificial intelligence to generate these videos that took me about less than 5 minutes. But I knew because I know social media marketing quite well. What I know when a platform is experimenting with something, and it was testing that series, that promotion, the artificial intelligence. But I haven't made a video yet where I need to sort of like people to buy into the course strategy. So hopefully with the new series, the tools coming out, I think it's the second week of January, I believe, after the 8th of January, I'll be able to tap into that. And that's one of my main revenue models. My local community social media marketing for you brand, I will see how that goes. But my main revenue model, and I think that's what you got to look at in 2024. What's your main expertise that you can do? Or if you're a medium size, or big brands have got really their work cut out, because at the end of the day, even if you're Coca-Cola and you've got a big marketing budget, you're still going to have to appeal to customers. And because our disposable income is getting shorter and smaller, we still don't know if we're going to go into a recession this year or not. Okay, experts are still debating around that. We won't know until the figures come through. If we hit a recession, it will be harder to start any business. And if you're somebody, you're on LinkedIn right now, and you're already established, it's going to be harder. And because of the bandwidth on LinkedIn and even TikTok now, it's quite a hit maturity. It's still going to be more harder for you to post videos, okay, and get traction on your business. So my advice is to anybody is go back to doing a SWOT analysis, assess the skills that you have, learn new skills, brainstorm, and then experiment, look at the data, which I haven't really spoken about data. Maybe in tomorrow's show, I'll talk about data analysis. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up the show. I think I've actually answered all 3 questions. So, how to deal with disappointment 2024, get a brainstorming session going. Sit down at a table. If you just had a phone call from somebody and they said to you, you know what, this has happened, or like me this morning, literally, I went out in the rain and I was so excited. And I went into this local place where I'm doing my event. I opened the magazine, it wasn't in it. I was disappointed. But that's okay, because it gave me an opportunity to sit down at a table, brainstorm my business strategy on the back of an envelope, which I would actually recommend because it's fun. If you're a medium-sized business or a global, you're not going to do it that way. You're going to have professional meetings. But when you're like me, you're starting up and you're just a local entrepreneur, even though I've got a global presence, it's just taken me a lot longer to develop a business strategy and a workable business model and a revenue model that works. And I'm still working on that. And that's okay, because you know what? I've learned so much. And I think sometimes in life, like everybody this week, literally, is going to be setting up all their goals. They're going out. They're going to get good news. They're going to get bad news. And you're going to be basically running around like headless chicken like the next 2 weeks, most of us, I'd say. And you're going to be coming out and thinking about, you know what? What's my focus? Oh, what's my focus? I just want to be happy. And I did a poll on LinkedIn yesterday. I can't remember the results. What's your goals in 2024? Start a business, start a new career, just be happy or better leadership. And I think most people just want a new career. And I don't think that's ever going to change. Every January, it's very historical that people want to start a new job in January, which is great. But some people want to go above that and want to start their own business. That's going to be more harder against the economy because we don't know if we're going to go into a recession. Why is that going to be harder? Because generally speaking, when there is a recession, it's people have got less money in their pockets, and that includes all avenues. So, you've really got to navigate and understand your market. And I think that's one thing that I haven't spoken about in any of my episodes so far. Maybe I'll cover that tomorrow, depending, is how do you get better at research to, make good alignment with your business model, your business strategy, and your social media marketing strategy. Because believe you me, when you start a business, when I was teaching business and doing business are two different things. The curriculum, and I say this now as a former business teacher, the curriculum that we offer business students in today's age in the UK at the lower level, level 2, level 3, is not great. The real world works a lot different, and it is about it's not about what content you push out on social media, but you need to understand your market and you need to understand where the attention is. You need to understand the craftsmanship, as Gary Vee says, your thumbnails, the time to post, the quality, written, audio, article, where to post, what time. That's data analysis. Data analysis skills are very underlooked in students today. And the data says that, and this is one good keyword I think for 2024, is finding out more data and simplifying your data in your business to make sure that you got the best business model, the best marketing strategy or social media marketing strategy, and your revenue models are working, they're open, and you're open to experiment. And that's all about data analysis. So maybe in tomorrow's show, I'll do a special on data analysis. I have got available on TikTok. There is a very good, smart, cheap 99 pence data analysis course, but I'm looking to expand on that. And I am myself this year, hopefully, depending how things go, open up a lot more courses free available on my other platform, which I've got working at the moment. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up the show now, guys. I've been going on now for over 33 minutes. It's been a pleasure, as always. Thank you for joining on this show. LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, everybody. Happy New Year again. I'm going to go on with the show again tomorrow, and I'll try and maybe cover data analysis. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. Key takeaway from today's show is, number one, learn to feel disappointment, accept it, and then get yourself back in the boxing ring, put your gloves back up, and learn to go into that round with new intelligence. What intelligence? That's when you go down, like me, on my kitchen table, sit down, maybe use a bit more professional in the back of an envelope. But if you're starting a business or you're growing your business this year, if you're on LinkedIn, you've got medium-sized business, even a small business, it does feed off of social media marketing, and you have to understand the landscape of what social media marketing is going to look like or what's happening now. And the only way you can do that is by testing all the major platforms, even the small new ones as they come onto the show. We need to understand the power of your content strategy. Your content strategy changes to the algorithm strength. If your video works well, you've got decent views, good feedback, keep going on that. But, every month, every week, and every day, different because people are posting so much content. The algorithm chooses what content it likes, and it plays it out to the audience, and you have to experiment with that. It's a dicey game. It's a bit of a headache for sure for a lot of companies, even big brands that've got big marketing budgets, because you know, as Gary says, Day Trading Attention, which is the title of his new book, which will be out in the summer, I believe. I'm looking forward to that. You know, when the attention is good, you jump on that platform and you push out as much content as possible so that you've got an edge. Okay. I've got a little bit of an edge here on TikTok and a little bit on LinkedIn because of, you know, I push out a lot of content and it played well on the algorithm at the time. And it allowed me to, you know, get a bit more established on social media so people know who I am. And by me going live every day, which is part of my business strategy, I get more exposure because the algorithm sends it out to the whole platform, and it picks up like today's show. I think I can't look at the data just yet, but yesterday's show got over 1,000 views on TikTok alone. I'm happy with that performance. I knew I wanted to go live on New Year's Day. I thought that was a good time, and sometimes it is just about timing. So anyway, I'm literally going to close down now, crack on with my article that I write every day on LinkedIn, and just say to you, Happy New Year, folks. Hope you enjoyed the show. I'll be back here again tomorrow at 1 p.m. And let's set it up now so put it in your diary. Follow me to get notified, and you will get notified if you're on one of my platforms, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, here, TikTok, and also Instagram and YouTube. Anyway, folks, have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.